Sometimes they ask us area figures. We're still going to follow the same concept, but there's one additional step. Remember when you do area, anytime you label it, you always have to do whatever it is squared. So for example, if I had this square here and it was 1 by 1, we would take 1 times 1, that would give us 1. The unit, we'll say, was centimeters squared, okay? That is the only piece that we're going to go ahead and do, but we have to make sure that we first reduce our ratio and then square it, okay? So it says, if two figures are similar, then the ratio of their area is equal to the square of the ratio of their corresponding side lengths. So it's the same thing that we just did, but now we're going to square that because area is squared, perimeter is not. Okay, so here we've got our original here of, it asked us to do red to blue. So originally it would be 6 to 10. Okay, key thing is we must reduce first. So if I reduce this down, I see that 2 would go into each of those. So if I divide by 2 over 2, that gives me my final ratio of 3 to 5. Now that's if it was perimeter. Well, now they're asking for the area. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to square this. Okay, 3/5 squared, that sounds really confusing, right? Well, here's another way of looking at it. We're going to do 3 squared over 5 squared. If you're more comfortable seeing it that way, then go ahead and work off of like that. So 3 squared would be 9. 5 squared would be 25. This is our final answer. Okay, so the area of red is 9/25 the area of the blue, is basically what we're saying, okay? So we still follow those same steps, setting up our proportion in the order stated, reducing it down, and then in this situation, we're gonna go ahead and have to square that. Okay, so let's try another one. Okay, find the ratio of red to blue areas of the figure. So red was 4, to blue was 6. So now we need to reduce that down. When we reduce it down, it becomes 2/3. Now it was asking area. So we have to square this. Okay, so it's the same as 2 squared over 3 squared, which would give us 4/9. Final answer. Red is 4/9 the size of the blue for the area. 4/9 the area of the blue. Okay, so I want you guys to go ahead and try this one. Find the ratio of purple to green of the areas of the figure. So remember, it's asking areas, so there's that one extra step. So go ahead, pause your video really quick and work your way through this one. So your final answer you should have gotten was purple to green. Well, purple's area was 16/49 of the green area. Okay, so that's where they give us figures. They're giving us some pictures. Sometimes they're going to give us words. Okay, and if you are somebody like me, the words, I sometimes have to draw just a brief picture. Okay, it says the base of a triangle P is 8 meters. So it doesn't matter the shape of the triangle, it's a triangle. So we'll just do this. So the base, this is my base, is 8 meters. Okay, and this was triangle P, not that I have to label that. It says the base of a similar triangle Q is 7 meters. So we have another triangle that looks similar to this. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this so that it's actually is similar. But I'm going to shrink this one down a little bit. And instead of this being 8, it's a 7. And this was triangle Q. Okay, so if you need the picture, you can use the picture. Some of you won't need it. Some of you will be able to read that and not need the picture. So it says, what is the ratio of the area of P to the area of Q? So we're doing area. P was 7. No, sorry. P was 8. To Q was 7. And it's asking area. So we're going to square it. Okay, so 8 squared is 64. 7 squared is 49. Final answer. Okay, so my final answer is that P is 64/49, the area of Q. Okay, remember, when you're doing area, you have to remember to square that ratio once it's reduced, and in this case, it was reduced. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and give you one of those. Actually, maybe we'll do this one together. Okay, so it says you place a picture on a page of a photo album. The page and the picture are similar rectangles. So that means they're proportional. How many times greater is the area of the page than the area of the picture? So once again, we're going to do what we were just doing. They're just wording it differently. So the area, well, they're asking that how much greater is the area of the page than the picture. So the page was 8 to the picture was 6. So we want to reduce that because both of those are even numbers. So we'll divide by 2, which would be 4 to 3. Okay, now it's asking area. So we're going to square it, which would give us 4 squared is 16 over 3 squared is 9. So the area of the page is 16/9 the area of the picture. It says the area of the picture is 45 square inches. What is the area of the page? So the picture is 45 square inches. What's the area of the page? So let's go ahead and do a proportion with that 45. So I'm going to take my original 16/9, okay? And we're going to set it up as a proportion. So let's see, the picture, remember the picture was my bottom number, my second number stated. So picture was 45. How could we solve for X? Cross multiply divide, right? So this is something, and this one's kind of a tricky one. It's kind of an advanced thing. So 45 times 16. Now we're going to divide that by 9. It gives me 80. So then that would be inches squared or square inches. Okay, so that's just advancing it. That's one of those higher end questions, advancing it out a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to give you one. I'm just going to jot down maybe a picture, and I want you to try it on your own. Okay, so I've got these two, rectangles, and we'll go ahead and change the color of one of them. Okay, and dimensions, let's do, this one is 8 and this one is 5. Okay, so what I would like you to do is I would like you to find the ratio of the perimeter. So do perimeter and the ratio of the area. And let's do blue to yellow. Okay, so I'd like you to find the ratio of the perimeter and the area, blue to yellow. Okay, so for the perimeter, you should have had 5 to 8 because that was the ratio, 5 to 8. The area had to then be squared. You had to square your perimeter. So you ended up with 25 to 64. Okay, key thing to remember out of this lesson, your ratios, pay attention to the order that they're being asked. When you go to do area, make sure you reduce first and then square.